Lisa, could you send a hound diary to that address, please? Thank you. Hello, Louise. Hello, Meru, how are you? Hello, Heather. Hello, Marianne Ray. Hello, Julie. Hello, Annaline. No, you weren't the first, Mary, Anne, actually. I'll tell you who was the first. Louise was first. Hello, Heather. Hello, Jules. Hello, Jan. Let the joy begin. Ooh, no pressure. I'm really a bit too busy for this, but I'm struggling to be. There's plenty of hours in the day, Jules. Hello, Christine. How are things at High Plains anyway? Is everyone behaving themselves? I bet they're all binning their slots because the weather's so foul and windy. So much for my horse being sound again. It is sound, but it's got a little bit of heat in it, in the last joint. Is that it? No more? Anyway, so I started, can you believe? I know I've done quite a few, but hello Marjorie, but I've got, as I say, this limited window of opportunity to paint Oriental poppies, and I have actually started another one. Well, I'll put that to one side. If I'm desperate, I'll come back to it. Hello Rose. So we've got our cockerels to be getting on with. We will be doing stuff soon, so get that horse sound. The other one's sound anyway, so I've always got, well, at the moment I have a choice of 1.5. He is sound, he's just got a little bit of warmth, we noticed this morning, so we gave him today off. He was alright. Did I ride him the other day? No, I rode the other one. Carol Trawley, hello. Tell Steve I rang. Is it your nephew-in-law, your brother-in-law, your cousin the roofer? I left 2 messages but have not heard back, and we do have a leaking roof. So if you do speak to him, maybe I have the wrong number or something. 25 degrees here, Louise. I can just make it so that you can't see me and we don't have to listen to you saying how warm it is where you are. Where are you anyway, Louise? Are you in Vermont? Joseph McNamara, how are you? How are things in Galway? Mel, shouldn't we be playing golf? Hello, Marianne Rogers. Joe McNamara here. You are looking well today. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much, Carol. I need a tap replaced. You want me to come round and do your plumbing for you, Marianne Ray? Oh, it's you who lives in Vermont, Anna. Near Rotterdam. Oh, right. Yeah, so Louise lives near Rotterdam, and Annaline. You both have very foreign names, and I just have, like, name dyslexia. Hello, Emma Scott. How are you? How's Ella? Hello, Maria. Hello, Libby Middleton. Lovely Libby. Libby, what fun we had all those years ago. How are you, anyway? Hello, Sarah. But I'm originally Dutch. That figures. One of my Dutch friends, a neighbour in the village, he had a massive heart attack a week on Thursday. His wife heard a thump from the bathroom. He'd been having a shower, and he'd been complaining of like a pain in his back for a few days. It's you that needs to be careful with all your injuries, not the horse. Oh good, I'm really back again. Can't play 2 days from running, too old. Nonsense. The more you do, the more you get to do. Use it or lose it. Hello, John Hutton. What was I saying? Can't remember. Look, there's Lisa, busy away. Do you want to say hello, Lisa?
Hello.
Jane was very shy yesterday. Shy to the point of almost grumpy.
Oh, I never know whether you're talking to me or not.
Well, just keep your ears pricked. What does one have to do to be referred to as lovely, e.g. lovely Libby? Well, you see, the thing is, Libby's naughty and you're not. Libby's lovely, but Jules, you're just naughty. Heart attack, that's right, yeah. So anyway, they rang and got an ambulance, but it took 40 minutes, not very good, and they took him away, but of course they couldn't take his wife because of the whole coronavirus, and so she had to just sort of let him go in the ambulance, and didn't know whether she'd see him again, and apparently it was absolutely touch and go. Anyway, as soon as he got to hospital, they were waiting for him, and he went straight onto the theatre, and they stuck a thing up his arm and into his heart, and they put a stent in. Ta-da! Yeah, Fiona, that's a black mark for not being here yesterday, actually. Happy Friday. I was wondering how you got to be the lovely. Libby is lovely. Libby had a pony called Crispin, and when I was about 14, we'd gone to, this sounds very sort of famous for Irish, but we'd gone to pony club camp, and I was lent a horse, and it was far too big for me and far too strong for me. And at the end of the week, my mother didn't recognise me because I was so thin. I'd literally spent the whole week like clinging onto this horse and being exhausted and stressed. But one day, Libby lent me her lovely, lovely, lovely pony Crispin, and that day sticks in my memory for all time. Anyway, that's so. If you want to lend me a really nice horse, then you could be lovely too, Maria. Hello, William. Sprung back up like a tulip. Yes, I saw him yesterday and he looked absolutely fine. I think he was just pretending. Right, shall we do some painting? Right. Yeah, Maria. So I hope that makes it clear. Clear for Maria. Right. That was my poppy painting palette. I'll move it to one side. And this could be my cockerel palette. These are my stories to tell you. I do prepare, you know. And there's everything else I just need. So I'm going to be doing some feathers here. Oh, need to put my specs on. I know you like to see me putting them on. She might have lent you a Cleveland Bay. They were great breeders. Oh really? Yes, I knew her dad, Joe. He was lovely. Well, she's there. You could chat amongst yourselves. I remember, oh dear. I remember going there to stay. I'm sorry, Libby, but I know this was normal for you. But I was staying there, and I think her dad said, or Libby said, oh, do you want to come? And I can't remember the rest of what it was. Anyway, the next thing I was presented of the spectacle of a mare turning up to be served by the stallion. This was not really my idea at the age of whatever, 14 or 15, of like fun. I'd rather go and find eggs or kittens or something. And my eyes were opened. Not in a good way. Right. missing. Here it is. It's a strange blue. But hasn't been used for a while, I'd say. Right, I'm gonna on the tail feathers. I'm just really playing around with colour, and I'm gonna do all sorts of things, because you can do some pale feathers and then overlay it with some different colours and some different colours. So I'm gonna do some sort of pinky coloured ones. And for those of you who haven't watched before, this is Saunders Waterford 350 GSM rough paper. I use flat Pro Arte brushes, and I use a mix of AJ Ludlow pure professional artist watercolours, which are superb, and I even have a range that have my name on them somewhere that have vanished. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But you can buy them on my website. And yeah, and Winsor & Newton paint. So the Winsor & Newton paint I get come in these great big things, and when they're empty I put the lovely AJ Ludlow paint in, which is that, and they come out of either little jars or big jars. Sorry, I sometimes just forget that people are just coming sort of new to the party, as it were. And all the videos up to about 2 or 3 days ago, that these live videos from during lockdown, they have now then, which is the front? This is in the front. All the videos are being uploaded onto my YouTube channel, including the really good mole one, which I've tried to share with Springwatch, even though I can't bear certain people on Springwatch. I'd quite like to see my mole video on there, because I think it's brilliant. You know, to have seen 2 moles in the garden like that, behaving the way they did, it was just lovely. So yeah, YouTube video, it's just Marianne Rogers. Not Marianne Rogers artist, I've no idea who that is, some flipping plagiarist. Right, so it's starting to build up. It's nice, I think. Can you see? I can only watch Springwatch without the sound. I know, doesn't he drive you berserk? I think we all know who we find quite irritating. I read a certain presenter from Springwatch's did I read his autobiography? No, I didn't read his autobiography. I heard it on, it was serialised on Radio 4. And it's really quite interesting. Where's my little pointy brush? Actually, it's not a little pointy brush, it's a sort of fairly pointy brush. A bit heavy. Okay. I know, I keep fiddling on with the eyes and the wattles and chollers. I'm not sure. I think these are the chollers, these bits under here. Or are they the wattles? I like to tease Fifey and point out his chollers, which are quite spectacular. I did suggest that maybe he should ask the doctor if he had a goiter on his neck, but I only knew his father for about a year before he died, but I do remember one overriding feature, apart from being a really nice chap, but he had like so many chins that it just went straight down to his neck, and I have a feeling Fifey's going the same way. Still, he's got redeeming features. Yeah, these. I just thought these, the red bits around the eye and everything, just all seemed a little bit pale. So I'm jazzing them up. He's in a bit of a huff with me, actually. I know he is on the spectrum. I don't mind people being on the spectrum. Just going to see. Love the moles, but thank you. He is dreadful. Springwatch. Yeah, he is on the spectrum. He was tolerable until he went mad. I don't think, he just absolutely loathes people who take a fairly traditional attitude towards the country, like not necessarily live and let live, but are part of what I would call a virtuous cycle, like what we do, trapping rabbits and then necking them and then eating them. He's just a bit obsessed, I think. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. The most frequent male plastic surgery is a lift. I'm useless at painting, but I love to watch it for the crack. Anyway, I was going to say, Fifey's in a huff with me. He came in before. I said, look, I'm getting ready. I've got my live video at 12. And he can't hear, so... And he said to me, he announced, he said, "You're mean." And I went, "What are you talking about?" And he said, Belgian buns. He's been in my car. And he found a box, basically. And, I was like ahead of him mentally. I was thinking, and I thought, how am I going to explain this? And he said, 2 Belgian buns with chocolate on the top. An empty box. And I said, I just picked litter up. You know I don't like to see litter. He wasn't having any of it because when I went to the shops, I have to admit, in front of you, maybe not him, but I did get quite peckish by the time I reached the dairy cream cake area in the shop, and by that point I realised I hadn't had any lunch and it was about 3 o'clock and I deserved a treat. So I thought, and they don't sell them singly, they just sell them in pairs, so I bought them. And when you're at the till and you think, I'll just leave that last in and then I'll be able to reach it. So I got to the till and there it was, sitting on the top of the shopping. So I just opened it and I ate one and then I ate the other one and I just threw the box onto the floor on the passenger side. Well, hasn't he found it? Real quick. Climbed at the door midway. Anyway, so yeah, but I did get him a treat and that was a double pack of digestive biscuits. I know I should have destroyed the evidence. So anyway, he's standing in the kitchen going, "Oh, here you are, Fifey, here's your treat." 2 packets of digestives. And I said, you want to count yourself lucky? I was going to get the own brand, and my hand hovered. And then the McVitie's ones were just slightly closer, so I put them in. Hello, Irene, anyway. Yeah, he's in a little bit of a huff with me about that. He said, I would have really liked one of those vacuum cleaners. Yeah, you have to destroy the evidence if you're going to cheat on your husband. He's so grumpy. I know what I bought him. I did buy him a treat. He said, get me chocolates and stuff. And I said, no, I can't do that because you know what happens. And he said, well, just get me Bounties, which are absolutely disgusting. So I bought a sort of massive big packet of Bounties in dark chocolate, which are doubly disgusting. And, oh no, that's not good enough for him. He wanted my fresh cream cakes, and then to be able to come the injured party when he finds the evidence. A bit like you, Jules. You should know better than throwing evidence of bingers on the passenger side floor like I did. Sorry, you can't see. Boring. I'll finish that off another time because it's boring for you. Now then, I think it should be a nice brush to do some more defining. I don't know, maybe this one. No, that's mud. I'm not going to go there. I'm just trying to find the right bit of dot of colour from somewhere or other. Okay, so that legs there. I think that one needs to be not sure about that actually. What is Spifey doing? Can you hear him thumping away? I think he was going to go and do some mowing today for a couple of people, but it was so wet this morning he didn't think it would be a very good idea. What are you saying? Let's have a look. Stomping on the ground with... How do you decide which paintings you're going to make into prints? That's a really good question. I tend to produce about 3 new prints a year, and I like them to be fresh, like new pieces of work. And I used the previous Christmas and the response to the new paintings I've done that year and feed that into my thoughts about what to do as a new print, because I like things to be fresh and to keep moving forwards. Having said that, I've just had a poppy painting scanned, which isn't here. Do you want to see my 2 new prints that have been scanned and they're at the printers being proofed right now? 5 feet is thumping. Yeah. Give me a second, I'll show you. Right, so these 2 paintings have been scanned professionally in a studio by somebody who doesn't seem to want to do it anymore, but there's nobody who does a job anything like it. So there's one, and that's called Fat Cattle, and it's my neighbour's cattle, and they come and stand here, and I paint them directly from life, which is great. And then the other one, again, as you know, it's painted this spring, so it's really immediate, directly from life. So that one has been scanned and is away at the fine art printer being proofed, and the other one, it's not here, I have a photograph. It's the one of the, I'll show you. Oh, God, I nearly fell off the edge of the seat. Where are we? It's that one. That's number 3, and that's it. It's a very expensive process. The scanning costs a packet, and the printing costs a lot. I do it the old-fashioned way, so they're 4 colour plates, lithographic prints, and the edition size now is 200. Used to be 500, but things have changed over the last 20-30 years, and I now like to have a smaller edition, and I get the whole edition printed in one go, so every single sheet has to be dried individually and go through the press 4 times. So that's really expensive, getting them all done. So the printer works from your scan, not the original printer. The printer, I usually give them the originals, but these days the scan is so good. There isn't anybody else who does a scan as well as this guy, and he won't do them for other people. He just won't. He does. I have to practically prostrate myself in front of him and beg, and they're so good that we don't need to. I mean, when the proof comes, I can hold them next to the original, and there will be no difference. Oh, I'm glad you like the cows. All 3 are lovely. Thank you, Hilary. I like them both. Flowers is your favourite. Well, flowers is your world, Sarah. I want to show you something else. Do you know I mentioned I was having watercolour paper pads made, and I'm having Waterford Rough High White 300 GSM paper, which will have the decal edges. This is the decal edge, and also the lovely, lovely watermark. There's one there on, and that is the size they'll be, which I think is quite manageable. It's, you know, as I said to 5 feet, when I was like years ago learning how to paint, I used to buy, not at the moment, poor Sarah. Sarah's a florist. I used to buy one sheet of paper, cut it into lots and lots of little squares, paint on one side and then paint on the other side, and just keep doing things and learning and learning and learning. So you don't need massive pieces of paper. And the problem is buying sheets of watercolour paper online, you'll pay more for the postage than you do for the sheet of watercolour. So a pad is not a bad thing. Anyway, and these are the things that have to be on. We have to have obviously the logo and St Cuthbert's Mill, which is the mill that makes the lovely paper. So there we are. Shall we do something to him now? So this is a light Sussex. This is also painted on 356 GSM Saunders Waterford rough, and the cockerel was painted in a very light wash and with a big brush, and a wash is just like dirty. Well, for this, so that it would stand out, it was very, very pale, like only just tiniest bit of pigment in quite a lot of water, and then the background very loose, and then sort of started building up leaves and foliage and stuff. Thank you. I've got a story for you. My mum, she rang me yesterday and she could hardly speak for laughing. She rang me first of all and said, "Oh, I've just come back from the high street," and she said, "My hands-free phone, like that's the one, you know, that like this sort of thing." She took a hands-free phone, that's a landline, to the shop because she thought the battery needed changing. So there was obviously some lovely, lovely young man who was very patient with her, and she was saying how nice he was. And I said, "Mum, I've got to go, I've got my live video." So anyway, that was all good. Then later on in the day, she rang me up and she could hardly speak for laughing because she'd got her phone home and the guy had explained how to set the volume on the ringer. It's super loud. How many originals do you sell? I do not know. Not enough. So yeah, and so she got the volume turned up, and then she thought, "Oh, I'll just press 147 on and see who's been ringing me." And there was a number there she didn't like the look of, basically, and she thought, "I don't think that's Marianne's mobile," and she did, "I don't think that's..." Anyway, she didn't think what it was, so she pressed 1471. It was ringing and ringing, nothing. And I don't like the sound of this. And anyway, so she rang my brother, my younger brother, the youngest brother, and she was saying, "I'm a little bit worried because someone's been trying to ring me, and I don't know who it is." And she was quite suspicious. And my brother said, "Well, what's the number?" And so she read the number, and he said, "It sounds familiar." He said, "I'm wondering if it's your mobile." And she went, "Oh." Anyway, she'd been leaving messages saying, "Could you please ring me back? Who is this?" Speaking on my phone, and like getting more and more cross and leaving messages for the poor person who'd been trying to ring her. I said, "You've been doing that? And have you heard your own voice on your mobile?" No, she's going to do that. What a lunatic. So she's been leaving all these like snotty and increasingly insulting messages for the person who she thought was trying to ring her up, and it was her own mobile. Stupid old bag. And I made a mistake. Today is her tennis coaching day, not yesterday. I said, "So what are you working on at the moment? What are you focusing on?" And she didn't actually know. So these are lovely markings on the light Sussex. And I'm doing it slightly differently to the last one, which was a different shaped brush. But as you know, I like to use the shape of the brush to achieve an effect, so I'm just pressing it down to get the sort of feathery shape. And what I'd like to know is, where are my chickens that I've been promised, that I agreed to purchase for £50? My mum goes to tennis coaching and I try to play golf. Each to their own, Mel. I was talking to my poor mum. I was telling her, she said, "Oh, I expect you've been swimming in the lake or the rivers." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You'd love it." Shit, I think I'd be dead before I get a chance to go back in a pool. And I said, "Actually, I think you're right." Because she is 86, and the government has sort of said you better stay at home forever if you're that old. Rotten meanies. I said, "You should just come up here and swim in the river with me." I don't know whether she's really up for quite such rigorous levels of cold. She should have said, "The ball. I should give myself a call and get her talking to." You're right about don't count your chickens before they've been delivered by Dickie Carruthers. He's all talk. We were discussing how swimming pools could possibly be open safely, and you could just say, right, turn up in your kit, so you park quite close by and have a toweling robe, or those of us who do open water swimming have glamorous things like dry robes, or there's something called a smock, which is like waterproof on the outside, lovely and fluffy on the inside for when you come out of some freezing cold lake or river. So then you could just go straight into the water, because I think it's the changing areas that present the coronavirus transfer issues. And then when you come out at the other end, you could just have some screened areas outside, some for men and some for women. And actually, where would you leave your clothes? So you could just dry yourself off and then race back to your car. To be honest, I haven't thought it all the way through. Right. Oh, look at the time. So this is like the back view of the tail. I wish my mum could text. Trouble is, Carol, have you not managed to sort anything out swimming-wise? Have you spoken to Mark? He's great. Oh, thank you very much, Maria. That's very sweet. I think you've had enough. I wish Holt Whistle Pool. Holt Whistle Pool is an open water, is an outdoor swimming pool. You could easily get changed like round the edge. Why don't you just ring up the council and have a right go at it? Yeah, I should be on the Sage team. I'd love to do that, solving problems. That's really just what painting is, having a vision and then working out how to make it reality. It's just the same. I am an engineer. Charlotte's watching. Hello, Charlotte. How are you? How's things? Have you been cooking any more lovely, big, meaty dinners for everyone except me? Elizabeth's sourcing me a wetsuit. Do you need a wetsuit, Carol? Why does Elizabeth have to source you one? Why can't you just like go online, put all your measurements in, and purchase one? Sap Green Team. Not sure what that means. Yeah, Holt Whistle Pool. I'm sorry, folks, but for those of you who don't know, Holt Whistle is an outdoor swimming pool. So I know they have lovely changing rooms inside, but they could easily say, right, you're going to shut them, and you just got to rock up in your swimming kit, and just have like a towel and stuff, and do everything you need to do in a little space on the thingamajig, and then they could just have a bucket with a whole load of detergent in and just splosh it down afterwards. Mum learned to use an iPad from her grandchildren and also use Facebook. She was very elderly when she started. She was obviously super flexible. My mum, I can tell her how to do something on an iPad, and I have to say I'm extremely patient with her, not like some of my other siblings who won't even discuss it with her. And I'll say, now you do it, Mum. And her fingers sort of go, I'm as good as you are. And like I say, she's a piano player, and so you'd think she'd have delicate fingers, but oh no, she doesn't have a thump on the iPad. I did explain. You just need to touch it. It's touch sensitive, like the clues in the title. Hello, Fiona. How are you? It was nice to see you the other week. And Linda's watching. Hello. How are you? How are the horses? How's Sep? How are the dogs? How's lovely Michaela? I hope everything's going all right. And I'm going to leave you now. I will come back. You're brimming with solutions. I am. I'm full of it. So we'll come back to that tomorrow. I will come back and it'll be fun. Even more fun stuff on that. We'll do the tail feathers, so they'll be lovely. Right, it's been a delight spending time with you, but I think the asparagus packet soup is calling. Bye.